Welcome into the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com. Tom Leach along with Jim Goodman, Keeneland's Director of Mutuals and Simulcasting, who gave you the late pick 4 on our podcast for Sunday. So if you played it for a 50-cent ticket, $336, I think. Nice work there, Mr. Goodman.
Well, thank you, Mr. Leach. A blind hog finds an anchor every once in a while.
Well, that's all we're looking for is just one or two of those nice ones.
That's right.
We're going to take a look at the Wednesday card here. There's an allowance feature, and then we'll also give you a late pick 4 play. But let's start with the feature, and it's a nice turf race here with a full field. Even a couple of the also eligibles are dangerous if they should get in. You got Camelot Kitten from the Ramsey stable, who was a Breeders' Cup runner last year, ran well here at Keeneland. Who do you like?
I like Camelot Kitten, but if Riddler gets in, I think he looks awfully good coming off that maiden win at Gulfstream, 7.5 furlongs stretching out, and won easily at almost 5-1. Hopefully Johnny V stays in town this week and rides him. I think there's a good chance he'll draw into the race. Exciting spring. I talked to the owner, Gabe Grossberg, a couple of days ago, and they may scratch the horse. So they, outside post and may not get in anyway. They got to make some plans, so they might try to get into a race later on in the spring. So I like Camelot Kitten. I mean, Chad Brown off a way off, ran in the Breeders' Cup juvenile turf and didn't run at all, but didn't get out of the gate and just was never in the race. Fairly well bet, 11-1. So big drop in class for the first time out as a 3-year-old. So I think Camelot Kitten is kind of a standout here. I would use Riddler underneath or as a pick 4 choice if Riddler gets in. So 6-13 would be my choice. Space Mountain ran behind Converge and Giant Run. That race came back, the Palm Beach came back as a very key race. At 48-1, got beat by 2 1/4, but he needs a fast pace up front. Paco Lopez is not that kind of rider. He usually gets him out quickly. So Lescano with Mott on site, I'll also use the one underneath, but Camelot Kitten is my pick here. I think Chad Brown takes this one.
Space Mountain is who I'm going to. I like the improvement as a 3-year-old in the 2 starts. Had some trouble in that race last time in the Palm Beach that you mentioned, so might even been a little better than he looked. And then you never know where you'll stumble into a nugget of information. I was listening to Steve Bick's radio program at the races on Monday, and they were interviewing Rusty Arnold about Weep No War's win in the Central Bank Ashland Stakes. And they talked about this horse, and Rusty was very, very high on this horse, said he couldn't be doing better, really thought he had a lot of potential. So that kind of sealed it for me on Space Mountain. So I'm going to take Space Mountain and use him in exactas with Camelot Kitten, Sight, the 1. The 2 also eligibles, 13 and 14, if they should get in. Either one of them you could use. And then if you want to go deeper, or if one of those or both don't get in, Tacit, the 12, I thought was a little bit of intriguing price play with a bad post. But the 2, Space Mountain, the one that I like. Now let's look at the pick 4. Starts in the 5th race on Wednesday's card. And I had trouble narrowing down, so I ended up I'm going to single Space Mountain and spread in the other races because I just couldn't find horses that I wanted to eliminate enough in the others. So I'm just going to take a stand with Space Mountain, and if he's the one, then I'll have a great shot to hit it, and if not, it's on to the next day. So in the 5th race, I'm going to take 5 horses. The pick is Al, and it's Cazalia, perhaps, not sure, but these Gulfstream shippers are very tough in the turf race, and I think the more accomplished horses in here are all coming off layoffs, so it makes me a little leery of them. So I'm going to, for the win pick, lean to that one, but I also want to use Season Ticket, the Candy Crush Personal Diary Entry. Both of those, all 3 of those horses are more accomplished. And then a couple of price plays, Tis Kismet and Sweetgrass, I want to be live with too. With these better horses coming off layoffs, I think this is potential upset opportunity. 6th race, I'm going to use 4 horses. Matador's the win pick. Second off, a long layoff for Cassie. It's a good angle for him, but I want to use Ironclad. I call Shotgun, Tis Now RJ, so the 5, 6, 7, 1 there. Going to single Space Mountain. And then in the last race, I ended up going to full scope off the class drop and a sharp work here, but I like the 1A Jack West for Zito. Wesley Ward's got a first-time starter, Davin with Dooley that I want to use. Christopher K. And then I also want Black Tavish, who's coming off a layoff, but both races that this horse ran in last year were some pretty good fields. One at Keeneland, one at Churchill. And just off the quality of the competition that he kept, I want to have a shot with him for a price. So it's going to be for me 3, 6, the 1A and 1 entry, 7 and 8 with 1, 5, 6, 7 with 2 with 1A, 4, 7, 9, 11. And I say 1A because I don't really like the other half of the entry. If Jack West should scratch, then you could disregard the 1 and save a little money. How about you?
I can't believe you don't like a horse named Fried Bologna. That's just, I looked at that and I thought, why would anybody name a horse that? But anyway, and you got my sleeper pick. I had the 11 with a big S beside it, and you pulled it out of the bag before I told you about it. So, all right, I'll go to the 5th race. I have my top pick in here because Brad Cox has been so hot at fairgrounds, and he ships My Love Venezuela up here and gets Giroux to ride. 8-1 is a great price on that horse, but this race is wide open. Candy Crush, you might as well play her to finish second. She has 2 wins and 9 seconds in 23 lifetime starts. Do not play win money on her because she just doesn't want to pass enough horses at the end. She always gets way out of it, comes flying down the stretch, and never gets there, so she'll probably win on Wednesday. But I would use her just in case. Alcazia Cazalia, is that what you called it? I guess that's close. But anyway,
sounds close enough to me.
All right, so I would use the 1, 3, 4, and I would also throw in Season Ticket, the 6 horse for Montcassie for Lake Peru at 5-2. So I would go 1, 3, 4, 6 there. 6th race, I like Arch Pearl, the 3 for Corey Lannery. Nice race and allowance race at Tampa. The Tampa horses usually come up here off that turf, and they're in shape. And this one goes to the dirt, but he shows a little bit of dirt form in his past. So I think Arch Pearl has a shot. I would also use Tisnell RJ the 1, Ironclad the 6, and Alcohol Shotgun the 7. If you had enough money, I would go all in here because the only horse I think really can't win is My Friend David the 4. So if you're going to go 4 or 5, you might just hit that all button and get lucky like some of us do every once in a while. The 7th race, I was going to single Camelot Kitten the 6 until Mr. Leach gave us the information on Space Mountain. So I might just double my ticket and use Space Mountain and Camelot Kitten. So I would go only those 2 deep unless Riddler gets in. So 2-6 there. And in the last race, I would use the entry. Again, I would agree with Tom that if Fly Baloney is the horse that runs, I wouldn't take him. I would take Eerily the 3 for Kellen Gorder. Pretty good first-time starters every once in a while, and got a lot of nice works on the page. I'd also use Full Scope the 4, dropping for Maiden Special weight to 50,000. 7, Diving with Dooley for Wesley Ward, and the 11, Black Tavish for Corey Lannery, just because Corey always rides hard, and Jim Corrigan may slip one in here. So Black Tavish has run against a lot better horses.
Yeah, I
so
just thought
that. My pick with the 1, 3, 4, 1, 3, 4, 7, 11.
I thought that company line with the 11 was intriguing for a price, and coming off the layoff, I doubt that he'll get bet. So, got some interesting prospects for prices in the second half of that Wednesday card. Good luck with your wagers. We'll be back to take a look at the Thursday card on our next edition of the In the Money podcast for KeenelandSelect.com.